What's going on, everyone? Let's check that stock out real quick. So, I'm looking at another dividend paying stock to add to my portfolio. I haven't really looked into it very much, but hey, let's see if it meets my three requirements. What are my three requirements? First requirement, it requires to pay a dividend. It's no point in me having it if it does not pay a dividend. Number two, it has to have good growth opportunity so I can have it for a long-term investment and get a good return on it. And number three, they have to be financially stable. So let's get into this stock. So the stock I'm looking at today is called ITW Discovery. They're a tool manufacturing company and founded in 1912. They're a pretty good blue chip company. Now, I don't know much about this company, so let's find out. So the company I'm looking at is called Discovery ITW. I have no idea what it does, so let's find out about it as this is the first time looking at it. So ITW is a Illinois Toolwork Inc. and is a Fortune 300 global multi-industrial manufacturer leader. Revenue about 16.1 billion in 2023. So it looks like they have a pretty good company based off the information. Their business looks like it's making tools, and it looks like they're in a lot of different countries. 54% in America, 26% in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and 20% in Asia. So they're pretty diverse. They have a sustainability program. Okay. They have government ethics. So it looks like they have everything in place. Let's look at the investor related and go into this company a little bit more. Let's see what their presentation looked like. Safe harbor statement. Okay, non-GAAP. They're making more money. So it looks like it's a decent company. They make food equipment, test and measure electronics, welding equipment, polymer and fluids. Okay, so they look like they're in almost all industry where tools and equipment. So it looks like they have a decent portfolio of type of equipment. So the type of equipment is automotive, OEM, food equipment, TM, electronic, welding, polyfluid, construction production, and specialty products. So it looks like they're in a bunch of industry, and it is a decent one as they're pretty spread out. So let's see what this company is about. So there were $261.39. All right, let's go to MSN, see what they say. So first thing first, let's check if they pay a dividend. They do pay a dividend of 2.34%. So they pay a decent dividend account for a blue chip company. Now let's look at the growth opportunity. Year to date, they grew about 3%, which is not that great. So 3% plus 2%, it looks like it'll grow about 5% a year. And of course, the 1 year mark, it grew about 2.3%. If you do add them together, it looks about 4.6% growth in 1 year. 3 years is 10, so it looks like it only grows about 2 or 3% a year. If I look at the 5 years, 44%. So yeah, if I hold this, it doesn't look like it has a good growth opportunity. So it looks like it fails my second reason why to invest. But let's look at the finance and see what's going on with them. So first thing first, let's see. In 2016, they grew to 13 billion, 14 billion, 14, 14, 14. In 2020, they lost some money or lost some revenue. And then 2021, 14, 15, 16. So it looks like they're growing pretty steadily across the industry based off their performance year over year. Now, their gross margin is 42%, pretty good gross margin with a net profit of 18%. And they look like they steadily stay about 18, above 15, 16, 17, 16. So they look like they stay about 17, 18% year over year with a 40 percentile of gross margin. So that's a pretty good financial company. So I wouldn't expect this company to go bankrupt anytime soon, just because they have a good gross margin and a good net profit. Now let's go back to the summary and let's look at what AI said. AI said the growth is a 6 out of 6. Earnings 4 out of 6. I agree. It's pretty good earnings. Not the best I've seen, but pretty good. Performance, yeah, I agree with the 2 out of 6. It's just not performing. It's performing below average. If you compare it to S&P, if 3 is the S&P, held 3 out of 6, I think it's pretty healthy. And you know what? I think the valuation of it is right on the money, 0 out of 6 too. Now let's see what the analyst says. Analyst does say hold. I agree, if you do hold this stock, it's a good hold company. Now, let's look at the insider traders, see if anyone's selling in the company, just because that could affect the stock prices. So they bought, Smith bought some and he sold some. He sold some and then he bought it right back, same day. Okay, that's kind of weird. Strobe, he sold some. Lawrence bought some or sold some. So who is Brian Jr.? Brian Jr. I don't know. I don't see it. But whoever this Smith David is, he bought and sold it, which looks kind of weird. I don't know why you would do that. Smith David. I really don't see him. But if you look up the company, they're in Illinois. Okay. And they incorporated in 1961. So this company been around quite a while. I think it's a pretty good blue chip company. Now let's look at this company some more. Let's check out the news on them, see if they're really worth it. I really don't see any bad news about them. So this looks like a good company to invest in, but it doesn't match the requirement for my portfolio. So let me sum this up. So let's go into, is this company worth investing in for a blue chip company? I believe the average investor should invest in this if they want to get a decent return. It doesn't have the best return, but it looks like you will get a return almost every year in the positive. So you'll get about 2%, 3% every year. Will give you about 4 or 5% return. So if you're close to retirement, you should add this to your portfolio. It's pretty reliable and it's a pretty good dividend paying stock. So if you're looking for a dividend payment, this is a good stock to add. Now, the reason why I'm not adding this stock to my portfolio is just because the growth opportunity does not look like it's there. It looks like it will increase every year. They do have a good evaluation. They do make good money, but its growth of this company does not look like it's there for me to invest in. Now, my recommendation, who should add it? Someone who wants to hold this for 4 or 5 years and get a steady return, because it looks like in 5 years you will get 44% return, which is a pretty good return if you want to have a stock. Just not the best growth opportunity, but if you're looking for a stable company, this is a good stable company to add to your portfolio. Well, that's all I got for you. I'm not adding this to my portfolio. It just doesn't have any growth for me to add it, but it's a decent company. I just don't think they're worth it for my portfolio. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to my video.